Matt Leinart, analyst for Fox Big Noon Kickoff. Of course, the Heisman Trophy winner. He's part of Fox's on-site pregame show in Indy, Iowa, and Michigan on Saturday night, and that'll be for the Big Ten Championship. Matt, how are you? Not a lot to talk about in the world of college football, huh?
Dan, first of all, I'm doing good. And did I just walk into you not liking fireball shots? Is that what I heard?
Yes, you did. I'm going to.
Well, I mean, let's have a drink. We'll take a few of those down. I'm a big fireball guy.
Yeah, but see, I would just rather do whiskey or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm not mad at you. But yeah, I mean, how about this week? I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a week like this in college football, with just obviously the amount of money that's being shelled out for these coaches, just the big jobs, the big coaches. Obviously, I'm ecstatic, which I know we're going to talk about, but and then just championship Saturday, championship weekend. I mean, there's some big games and. Still a lot of, a handful of scenarios to see who gets into the top four. So, yeah, it's been a wild year in college football. It's been a great year in college football. We've been on the road almost every week, which has been a lot of fun. And again, but real quick, before we get into this, I'm a little jealous because every week I see my buddy BQ on with you, Brady.
Yeah.
And I just, I just give me a little more love, DP. If you want me to get on more, I got to watch my Notre Dame guy.
I've been calling. We've been calling. We've asked for the
and my buddy McLovin is there. Shout out to McLovin.
What's up, Matt? Matt and I would do fireball shots together, Dan.
That's right.
Yeah, like Brady is a little too pretty for this show, so you're more of a man's man. But we've reached out, and they say no, he's not available. He's not available. Yeah,
I need to talk to somebody then.
All right. Yeah. And look, I'll blow right by Brady Quinn. I mean, he never won a Heisman.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
All right. If I told you a week ago USC was hiring Lincoln Riley, Notre Dame was going to lose Brian Kelly to LSU, and Michigan was going to beat Ohio State, which one would you have said that ain't happening?
Probably Lincoln Riley to USC. I mean, that was
really.
And again, I'm more, obviously a little more invested in that, and I didn't see any of them happening. The only one, to be honest with you, that I thought had a shot was Michigan. Now I picked Ohio State, and I thought they were going to win, but that this team, and obviously now talking about in hindsight, this team is just different than it's been in the past, and they went out and proved that, but. The one that shocked me the most was my alma mater, and it shocked me in a great way, obviously. But that weekend, I was hearing a lot of chatter about potentially Matt Campbell.
Yeah,
and I was getting ready, kind of just to get on board. He's a really good football coach. Be happy with him. But then I get a text on Sunday from my buddy Bruce Feldman, who I know you know well, and. He says Lincoln Riley, and I said, "Holy hell, are you kidding me?" And I had talked to a few people prior the weeks up to it, saying that the only job that he would potentially take was USC, but I was like, "There's no way." I mean, and then all of a sudden it happened, and I couldn't be. I mean, gosh, Dan, it's that's what SC needs. They needed that splash. They needed someone who can change the culture there, it's a home run hire in every sense of the word. USC is relevant immediately. He's already flipping a ton of recruits. I was just looking at some of these recruits this morning. He's already getting some guys that were interested in Ohio State. Now they want to go to USC. Like he's hitting the ground running, and I couldn't be more happy, to be a Trojan and that he's the next head coach there.
It's never done in a delicate way. It's hard to do that. It feels like there's outrage nationally that Brian Kelly left Notre Dame. There's not outrage for Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma, but because Notre Dame's polarizing. Is there a tactful way for a coach to leave if you were a player and you played for Notre Dame and Brian Kelly comes back from a recruiting trip and says, guys, gather at 7 a.m., I'm taking the LSU job. How would you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because the one thing with Notre Dame is I mean, there's still a very realistic path. They get into the playoff. I mean, can you imagine they get into the playoff and the narrative around that without Brian Kelly? I mean, it's so that's the weird thing about that. It's just like these players are right there in a position, either going to a New Year's Six Bowl or a realistic shot. Not a lot has to happen for them to sneak into the top four. And then all of a sudden, your coach is taking a job, and 3 hours later he's saying bye in 2 minutes, and he's out. And then obviously, the story out there of going out recruiting, and then that news kind of breaking right after that, and his whole staff is out recruiting. So, is there a tactful way? I'm sure he could have probably handled it a little bit better, but in this day and age, with the early signing period and the amount of money that is just being, I mean, it's $100 million, and you look at LSU, and by the way, Brian Kelly is a damn good football coach. He's one of the best in the business. But you look at the position, the situation at LSU, the way they can recruit there. They won a title just a couple of years ago, and then you dangle out 9 figures or whatever it is, 10-figure, whatever it is, 9 figures, and it's hard to pass up. So, yeah, look, I think it's part of the business. It's unfortunate, and it's the way. I mean, Lincoln, their season was done. They did it right after, but even that happened within hours, and all of a sudden these players are like, hey, wait, what about me? Like, what happened here? So,
do you think Brian Kelly would have left if Notre Dame was ranked third?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, I do. I think he saw the money. I think he, obviously from talking to a few people and just reading the stories out there, obviously there's some things that, maybe he wanted there that didn't happen over time. But then again, he did hit the ceiling there. I mean, he got them to the playoffs multiple times. It's just there's a gap between Notre Dame and Alabama's and Ohio State's and Clemson's of the world. And, I think he took them as far as he could possibly take them. And then you look at a job like LSU with the talent that's available, even the talent on that roster. I mean, it's still a very talented roster. There's an opportunity for him to win a national championship there. But yeah, it's kind of the way the whole college football is set up with, the early signing period and these coaches jump in. I mean, Lincoln Riley was introduced Monday, which I was at the press conference. That night, he's out recruiting already down in Orange County in Southern California. I mean, that's how fast this is happening. There's no time to look in the mirror. So, but unfortunately, Dad, as you said, the players are the one that suffer from that.
Did Notre Dame recruit you?
They did not. They did not recruit me. I think at the time they were. I believe it was Ty Willingham. They had a lot more of they had quarterbacks that can move, and that's not me. I think they had Carlisle Holiday. I remember if Carlisle Holiday was a good player for them. Actually, my teammate in Arizona, he ended up playing receiver for us in the league, but I don't think I was a good enough athlete for them at the time.
McLovin said you didn't have the academics to get in, Matt.
And that's probably true as well. Listen, I was a Soc major at USC, and I took ballroom dancing my last year. So
I remember people gave you so much grief for that. I remember having you on talking to you about that.
But here's the thing: people need to realize I'd already graduated. I just had to take 2 units just to be eligible for my senior year. So how about this? My whole senior year, which was just incredible. And again, I came back because I wanted to be at USC and all of those things. I took 2 units because I had already graduated. So people are up and over. I'm like, it was either that or an art class. I'm like, all right, I'll take ballroom dancing. This could be fun. It was Tuesday nights, once a week during the fall. So my schedule was just all football, one night a week. Actually, you know who I took that class with? Mark Sanchez was in that class. And Mark Sanchez was a true freshman, so he took it, I think, as an elective or whatever at the time.
And nobody ripped Mark Sanchez for taking ballroom dancing.
Yeah, no, man, it's all right. I think I got an A- in the class too. So
And you probably a good place to meet women.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I don't even know how many people were in that class, but Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't take a lot of that with me post USC. You know, I couldn't do the 2-step right now or the box step if you asked me to.
Ooh. Before I say goodbye, how does Iowa beat Michigan in this game this Saturday night on Fox?
Yeah, look, it's not a trap game. I mean, this is a conference championship game. Iowa's a really good football team, but one of the interesting things, the way Iowa's built and the way they've won this year is takeaways on defense. And again, that's a very common thing. You know, hey, if you get turnovers, all that, you're going to win a lot of games. But the way it is for them is 30% of Iowa's scoring has come off of takeaways. Iowa, and I'm sure you know, this is just, they're not built to go 80, 90-yard drives. It's not the type of offense they have. They have fed off of their defense being outstanding at creating turnovers because it gives them short fields, and that's how they've operated. And that's how they've won a lot of games. The 2 losses this year, they had 1 takeaway. So if Michigan just protects the ball, which they've done all season long, it's going to be very challenging for Iowa to just drive and score enough points. That's just not how they're built. So that's just something to keep an eye on in this game is when Iowa is opportunistic on defense, which they're a very good defense otherwise, then they're going to have a shot to win this game. But look, I think Michigan is legit. They're very, very good. They have their identity. They got those bad boys up front on defense, Hutchinson and Ajabo, who are very good players, first-round guys. Haskins is a stud. It's going to be tough for Iowa, but Kirk Ferentz and the job he does and that team, you can just never count those guys out. So it could be a low-scoring fist fight, but it'll be a good game.
Safe travels, Matt. Great to have you on again, and thanks for joining us.
Dan, thanks for having me, buddy.
That's Matt Leinart, analyst for Fox Big Noon Kickoff. Yeah, we'll kick Brady Quinn at the curb. I mean, he doesn't have a Heisman.